everyone, welcome back. This is Denise, and today I'm in the mood to paint a concentric circle kind of painting, but in a different way, like a little twist. And so I'm kind of thinking in my mind as I might do rings of wonky circles and then layers of filled in mark making. We'll see how that works out. So I've pulled out some Masha's watercolors, and I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to use the shadow turquoise, the shadow green dark, and the green gold. We might regret not pulling a color card, but that's what I'm gonna work with today. And whatever paints that you have, if you want to do something similar, just grab whatever you got. It's not trying to do anything special here besides I just love these colors and how they granulate. And just seeing like what we can create and where we can go with these. And I'm just going to do some fun wonkiness, hopefully, with my paintbrush here. Just mixing them in together a little bit and then appreciating how they maybe granulate and the tricks that they do, because it's my tricky colors. And I love watercolors that have some tricks. And then I'm using too my favorite wonky brush. This is the 1/2" oval wash, and it's got that fun little cat tongue like shape, and it really helps you get all the yummy wonkiness that you want, which I love. And I'm gonna go in here and maybe add some other, maybe fill in some of the white if I've left too much white space, because I want to put mark making in here, but I don't want it to be all solid areas. I want to kind of mix them up a little bit. And ooh, look at these colors. Oh, these are such good colors. Okay, I'm loving that I picked these for today. I mean, if nothing else, just appreciating the blues and the greens. Oh yeah, okay, this is starting out really pretty already. And I've left myself a little bit of a big enough area there. I'm kind of almost thinking, do we want deckled edges when we're done? I don't know if we do or not, but I'm giving myself that choice. And because I'm, taking inspiration from all of our lovely concentric circle pieces with the concentric circle idea here, just adding in some other layers on top to make sure that these are going to do some interesting things with the extra added water and color. So that's kind of why I'm going back and just layering some more on top here. Okay, that's already loving what these are doing. Let's go ahead and let this dry, and I'll be right back. All right, this is dry. And I don't know if you can appreciate how gorgeous these have granulated and morphed and just done super cool things. Just admiring the texture of this. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to use a pencil and gold. Did you hear that one coming? I'm going to do some designs, and then I'm going to top off, I think, with gold. So I'm kind of thinking circles in the big circle here, and maybe some circles filling in some of these other areas, and then lines. Circles and lines. That's what I have in my mind. And so far, this is kind of turning out exactly how I had secretly hoped. Oh my gosh. I love it when a plan comes together. I don't want to put any water down on my piece accidentally, so I've just grabbed my wooden paint stick that goes with the great big paint buckets from the paint store. It's the perfect size for a hand rest. And I've kind of got it propped on my little palette over here, and that's propped it just enough off my piece of art not to be touching it, and gives me a place to rest my hand. Very handy for today. This is my Blackwing matte pencil, if I didn't say. And I'm working on Honeymoon 9x12. I just cut 3 inches off the end. I'm gonna use it as paper samples. Cold press watercolor paper. That's my favorite paper. So between that and the Blackwing Academy paper, it's my 2 favorite papers. I like the Blackwing because it's clean, bright, and the price is great for 20 sheets in a pad for that larger size. And it always looks good when I paint on it, so it's my other favorite. And I link all those on my favorites page on my website, so I link that page in the description. Look at that, it's already looking pretty cool. Oh my gosh, already looking cool. Okay, did I get all the spaces? I think I did. Oh, look how cool that looks. Ah, good paint day. All right, so we're gonna get the gold. We're gonna add some little gold in there because we love the gold. All right, this is my Kuretake gold mica ink. And I just use a pipette to put the gold in the bottle. So, stuff lasts in here just fine as I throw stuff down off my table. And I just shake it up and it's ready to go. And then I usually start it on just a little sample sheet here, just to get it kind of going. Get me used to going here. And I'm holding it almost parallel with the paper. That's how you control the ink flow and where it doesn't just splash out everywhere. And I kind of want some real fine gold lines all the way through the piece so that when you're looking at it and the light shines on it, it's a pretty shimmer that you're like, ooh, look at that. So I don't want it to be super bold or nothing out there. I just want to be able to look at it in the light and see a yummy shimmer out there. But then I also think I want a few gold dots. So maybe just strategically in here. And I'd like them not to be too big. So you know what I think I might do? Because I think what I might do is use, hang on, let me get the tip in here. Because I want these to be kind of fine. It's been a while since I've pulled these out, since we can't really get these anymore. But a similar one is the Kuretake Zig Poster Man. I've got the big chisel tips, but I want to, they do have little bullet points out there, but this is the one that we got in our sketch box last year. And so I'm going to use it because I have it. Just getting it started there. I've got a big dollop of paint. Hang on, I don't want that going where it shouldn't go. And I want just lovely fine dots. That's why I'm choosing this one, but you could also use Signo Uniball. gold. That would also be really lovely. I mean, I might as well just go ahead and sprinkle some dots all the way through some of these colors, shouldn't I? Because they're lovely. Okay, that's what I did not want, so let's see if we can pick that up a little bit. Ooh, or maybe even with a paintbrush, maybe I can pick that up a tiny bit. Or smear it around so that it looks like it was on purpose. Sometimes this, sometimes the ink just drips right out. So we're going to put it in there a time or two more so that it definitely feels like we wanted them in there. And just the between me and you and the fence post, we'll know that it came out a little more than I'd hoped. But look, we just worked it right in. All right, let's see what we got here. Do we got enough where we want it? I think we do. Look at that. Ooh, look at that. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm loving today's piece. Even though we got that splotch, that's how we clean that splotch out. I almost feel like there needs to be a splotch kind of over here. Let's just pick out, let's just get ourselves another splotch of ink and we'll come over here. There we go. Now you know we really wanted that there. Instead of thinking, uh-oh, we gotta, oh, look at that. Okay, there we go. Oh, I can't even tell you how much I love this. So we are going to peel the tape and then look at it and see if we want a deckled edge. Because I feel like maybe I do want a deckled edge. So if you left it just like this, you could frame it with a mat, and the mat could come into like right here and mat that out. If you do a deckled edge on it, you would float frame this. So this would kind of be floating in the frame with a mat behind it, and it'd be floating above the mat basically, because the little deckled edge is what we decided to do to frame it. Okay, I'm filling the deckled edge. So let's get our rip ruler out. This is my favorite one. I've got several rip rulers and a metal one, but this one is the one that I really like, and it's the dual edge ripper. I do link that on my favorites page up top. And basically what I do is leave enough for me to grab, so 1/2 inch at least, and then giving myself a little ledge here to grab it. And then I kind of look at how much deckled edge do I want? How far over do I want that to be? And if you tear the paper a little bit, pulling your tape like I did on this one, perfect way to tear that right off. And then you just tear towards the ruler. I like the one that's a little more subtle. This one's two-sided, so I pick the subtle edge when I pull these and just tear it right on towards the edge. You do got to be careful with whatever you've put this down on, if you've got oil pastels or something, because that'll stick to the bottom of that ruler and then you'll get it on every piece of art after that. So you gotta be careful too, and maybe clean your ruler off occasionally, which I don't do nearly as frequently as I should because there's color on the bottom that I can see. But I just thought I'd mention that. And I'm just eyeballing it. I don't care if it's perfect. I want it to look good, but it doesn't bother me if it's exacty because we're already doing it as a torn edge. And if you have a piece that didn't tear, I try to tear those down to get the extra bit off. All right, look at that. Okay, duckled edge was a good choice, because now you could float frame that right on top of a colored mat and it would be beautiful. And what if you did it in like gold frame, right? How amazing would that be? Pull out the little tiny pops of gold that we've put in there. All right, this was a beautiful piece. I love this. Hope you enjoyed painting with me today, and I'll see you guys next time.